أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله. أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله. حي على الصلاة. حي على الصلاة. حي على الفلاح. حي على الفلاح. الله أكبر.
الحمد لله رب العالمين، نحمده ونستعينه ونستهديه ونستغفره، ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا وسيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله تعالى فلا مضل له، ومن يضلل فلا هادي له. وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، ولا مناوئ ولا منازع، تفرد بالألوهية فلا رب سواه ولا معبود إلا إياه. ونشهد أن محمدًا عبده ورسوله وصفيه وخليله وحبيبه، أرسله بالهدى ودين الحق فبلغ الرسالة وأدى الأمانة. فاللهم اجزه عنا وعن والدينا والإسلام والمسلمين خير ما جزيت به نبيًا عن أمته ورسولًا عن رسالته. أوصيكم ونفسي بتقوى الله. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم، ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. ثم أما بعد، عباد الله, we all praise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We all testify that there is no God worthy of worship except Allah ta'ala alone with no partners. And we testify that Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is his servant and final messenger. O Allah, shower your peace and blessings upon the soul of our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Make us true followers of Him, Ya Rabbal Alameen. Make us with Him in the day of judgment. Allahumma ameen, Allahumma ameen, Allahumma ameen. Ikhwat al-Iman, my brothers in faith, my brothers and sisters in Iman. Today, allow me to share with you one of the most unique features of this faith, which is ukhuwat al-Iman, the brotherhood and sisterhood of Iman, the bond of faith. أحبابي إن الإنسان بالروح لا بالجسم. My beloved brothers and sisters, we are who we are. A human being is a human being not by the body, but by the ruh, the soul that gives us life. We come in different piece packages, colors, alwan shatta. All of them are created by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is not what makes us different from one another. Or this is what not gives us the content, the entity. What gives us this is our ruh that we go by, the soul that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us, the spirit, which is a secret from Him subhanahu wa ta'ala. And because of this, what connects us, what connects our ruh, what connects our souls together, takes priority over what connects our bodies. أخوة الإيمان أعلى من أخوة النسب والدم. Being connected to one another through faith is stronger of a bond than even being connected through blood. Your Muslim brother, your brother or sister in faith is and should be closer to you than your blood brother or blood sister. That's what it should be, because the first has to do with the bodies only. We just happen to be from one family. We are connected through material things, but the other one, or the second one, is all about our ruh and our faith and what we have in common with our ruh. Aqidah mabniya ala taqwa. It's a relationship that's based on our faith, our iman, our aqidah. What do we go by and what do we believe in? And that's why it goes beyond time, color, place, space. A Muslim in China is my brother. A sister in India is my sister. And they could be more so than my blood brother or my blood sister if they do not choose to be believers. And there's no competition. That doesn't mean I will be an enemy for my father or mother. That's not it. We're talking about the level of closeness, the level of the true connection, the true bond that gets us together through generations. That we feel Umar ibn Khattab is my brother. And we're so proud to have somebody like Umar ibn Khattab as my brother, Abu Bakr as our brother, or Salama as our mother, and our sister in Islam, or any of the Sahaba, or any of the Muslims now or in the past. That is what gets us together, is an iman. في نظر الإسلام لا يلتقي الناس كما تلتقي البهائم على حدود أو على طعام أو على شراب أو على جنس أو على مرعى أو على كلى. In Islam, we don't get together like animals do. Animals might get together for genders, mating, foods, graze, pastures. They move from one place to the other. They move in herds all because of some connections related to their food or their mating or whatever it is that has to do with their bodies in the first place. Muslims, Islam gets us together in a higher level. Yes, we will get together when we have business together, when we are from the same country, when we belong to the same family, when we go to the same school. All of these are circles that will get us together, and it's respected in Islam. But the highest level of us getting together is upon faith, is upon iman. Because if we stop there, at the level of place, we just happen to be from the same country, supporting one another endlessly, that is the ultimate level, the ultimate connection. It's because he happened to be my country person. He happened to be whatever it is that gets us together. If that is it, then what is different? How are we different from other creatures like animals? But we get together as individuals, as groups, as nations, as generations on Iman, on faith. Any Muslim brother at any time, any Muslim sister, any Muslim nation, regardless of the color, regardless of the ethnicity, in Islam there is no asabiyya. It does not take priority, but rather Iman is what takes priority, and what gets us together as believers should be what gets us together. A believer would always feel and get along easily with another believer, with another Muslim, even though they don't speak the same language, but they feel the same thing. They worship the same Lord. They share the same destination, and they pray for the same thing. يتواصلون يتلاقون من وراء النسب والدم والتواصل والأجيال والأزمان. A believer with another believer will get together regardless of their time. We feel the pain of what some Muslims going through in the middle of Asia, in Africa, in Palestine, anywhere. Why? Do we know them? Do we have any business to do with them? Do we even speak the language of the Uyghur brothers and sisters in China? It's all because of faith that gets us together through and beyond our languages and our barriers and our differences. It's all because of Allah. It is Him Azza wa Jalla who got their hearts together. If you are to spend ما في الأرض جميعا, everything on earth, you would not be able to get their hearts together like this. May I ask my brothers by the door, especially by the door, to move forward? The young boys there, move forward. Everyone, inshallah. Don't block the door. Don't block the door. تفسحوا يفسح الله لكم جزاكم الله خيرا. يجتمعون أولياء بالعقيدة. We get together as awliya, wali. You are a wali for me, I'm a wali for you. True connector, in true connection with one another, support, ultimate level of respect, ultimate level of trust. That's how it should be. I'm not saying we're going to be angels, and we are not. But what gets us together is way more than what we disagree on and what separates us. We get together as awliya. Wallahu Azza wa Jalla min wara'ihim jami'an waliyuhum. And Allah Azza wa Jalla in front of us and above us is the God that is the wali for everybody. It is the true meaning of one nation under one God. One nation under God. That's what Islam is about. Even though it is being used here, and the essence of it is right. But is it truly under God? What those people do? Is it truly one nation under God? It could be one nation, Allah, that's what I think. One nation under the law. I know the law, the man-made law, which is good in the most part. I'm not in conflict with this. But I know that the law, whatever it is that's being passed, takes superiority over anything and everything. One nation under the law. We as Muslims, we should be one nation, one ummah under God, under Allah Azza wa Jalla. Whether we apply it or not, I believe Muslims apply it for the most part, but we should keep it always in front of our eyes. That's how we should be. وحدة شعورية بين المسلمين. You feel that unity of feeling. The sentiment is the same. In Eid, all Muslims feel the same, and it's the same Eid in Ramadan, in prayers, in sujood, in dua. It all feels the same. Go to Hajj. Go to Hajj, and you will know what I'm talking about. Everybody respects this Kaaba because it's the house of Allah. Everybody is shedding tears, even though they speak different languages. They come in different packages and colors, but they are all united in how they feel. They're all united. Youth, what you're going through, all the Muslim youth, all over the world are going through. I'm trying to be a good Muslim. I'm trying to be a good person. I have some challenges. Whatever and whoever and wherever it could be, all Muslims are united with you, and they are all trying to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We are all united. What pleases, when something good happens to Muslims, anywhere we feel happy. When some Muslims are being attacked or something wrong or whatever it is that's happening to a Muslim and they are suffering, we feel sad. That's how it should be. That's the unity of the hearts of the believers. وكما قال قائلهم إذا اشتكى مسلم في الصين أرقني وإن بكى مسلم في الهند أبكاني. شريعة الله لما شملنا وبلت لنا معالم إحساني وإيماني وحيثما ذكر اسم الله في بلد عددت أرجاءه من لب أوطاني. Wherever the name of Allah a Muslim cries in China, I cry for him. If a sister or a Muslim cries in India or something good happened to them in India, I feel good for them because it's the Sharia and the Deen and the faith in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is what gets us together, not business, not worldly things. We could do these things, but ultimately we are brothers and sisters under Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَتِلْكَ مِنْحَةٌ إِلَهِيَّةٌ. And this is such a divine gift. Wallahi, it is a divine gift. The first time I came to the States, I was invited by a masjid in North Carolina to lead them in Salah. I was just coming for Ramadan. And then I was so worried, what's going to happen? Somebody with a beard coming from the Middle East. And the first time off the longest trip in my life back then. And wallahi, when the first person the officer who talked to me, the first word he said, Ramadan Mubarak. I didn't even get it. I didn't get it. I was traveling for like a day or two, and they were sighting the moon, and he was telling me, oh, it was just sighted, and tomorrow is Ramadan. I felt so happy that to see a Muslim brother, and that is what every one of us feels when you see a Muslim somewhere, oh, in the airport there. Look at this sister there in hijab, somebody. You feel something. You feel that you're connected. I don't know them. I don't know. I was in Atlanta picking my family the other day, and I went to the chapel, the place where they pray. Another Muslim came. We don't speak a common word, nothing. But I know, he knows, it's awesome time. I pray, let's pray together. That's what gets the Muslims together. Under Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for prayers. We feel the same thing. Wallahi, the person they asked in Atlanta, I didn't know. I picked him out of everybody. Do you know there's a chapel here? He said, why are you asking me? I told him, I don't know. He said, I'm a Muslim. The chapel is there, and this is the pastor. Something gets the Muslims together, and we should live with that and act upon that. ولكن هذه المحبة أحبابنا الكرام تقتضي أشياء. This أخوة, brotherhood and sisterhood, it should have some representation and demonstration. It is not just words you say. It is not nice words that we hear from an imam or we chant with one another. إِنَّمَا الْمُؤْمِنُونَ إِخْوَةٌ, as Allah said, we're all brothers. But when it comes to how we deal with one another, what happens? What should we do? How should we deal with one another? I was shocked this week when I was talking to some of the Muslim brothers and sisters, new Muslim brothers and sisters, and some of them told me that we give salam to some people here in the masjid and they intentionally do not give us salam back. And we think, oh, they didn't hear us. We say the salam another time. They don't get back to us. So it's clear. And more so that a brother was talking to another brother in front of this masjid and was telling him, why do I have to give you salam back? I don't have to do. I don't have to give you salam back. I don't know this brother, I don't know the other brother. I can tell you, whoever said this, you are wrong. You did not get Islam. We could be sinning in much more in a way that's bigger than zina and shurbul khamr when we cut the relationship of faith as we do with these actions. When we deal with one another and we betray one another and we undermine the trust between Muslims and we are part of the culture that I don't want to deal with Muslims. I don't want to live in a neighborhood that has a lot of Muslims there. When we are part of this, by shaking this trust, by doing actions that shake this, wallahi, I personally think that this is bigger of a sin than the common sins that we go by or we think are bigger than that. We should respect and love one another. That's what Allah said in the Quran. وَاخْفِضْ جَنَاحَكَ لِلْمُؤْمِنِينَ. Lower your wing for the believers. وَاخْفِضْ جَنَاحَكَ لِمَنِ اتَّبَعَكَ مِنَ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ. إِنَّمَا الْمُؤْمِنُونَ إِخْوَةٌ. Believers are indeed brothers. That's what gets us together is Iman and is faith. And we see that being taught by Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam as number one thing. After faith in Allah, when he migrated to Medina, we all know the stories. We all know that he got the Muhajirun and Ansar. أَخَى بَيْنَ الْمُهَاجِرِينَ وَالْأَنصَارِ أَنْتَ أَخُو هَذَا. This is the brother of this. And they practiced it in a very beautiful manner that they were ready to, here's my money, here is my wife, pick whoever you want, half of my money is yours, take whatever you want. That's how Muslims practice it. Were they angels? When things happen, are we like, did we abandon Islam? No. Things happen even at the time of the Sahaba. في غزوة المريسيع بني المصطلق. Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is going back from this ghazwa. And what happened is, normally when there is scarcity, there's going to be some competition. Water is the main thing. They don't have water, traveling in the desert for a while. All of a sudden they found water. And you can imagine, they're all jumping to get water. And one from the Muhajirun, one from the Ansar happened to just bang into each other. Something happened and he كسع المهاجرين الأنصاري. One of the Muhajirun كسع يعني ضربه بقدمه. He kicked one of the Ansar. That's what happened. Competition in water. We see, wallahi, I had some complaints when we used to serve food. Oh, he jumped me, he cut me off, they put more food for him, but not me. Things happen. We're humans. This is not from outside. This is human. We live life. It happens. It probably took place all in a few seconds. That the Muhajiri found himself being pushed, so he pushed back and he kicked. And then all of a sudden, before anybody realizes, the one from the Muhajirun said, Ya the Muhajirin. The one from the immigrants of Mecca, all my people, Muhajirun, support me, come. The other one, what do you say? It's an automatic process. Ya al-Ansar. He's calling upon his people. And Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam قال دعوها فإنها ممتنة. Put it aside. Abandon it. Don't use this call. It's rotten. Allah gets you together. And you are calling upon your people. What do you mean? We're all one ummah. So it will happen. And then Abdullah ibn Ubay ibn Salul, Rasul Munafiqeen, the leader of the hypocrites, got to know about it. He is from Medina. Hypocrite. He said, Wallahi, إنما مثلنا ومثل هؤلاء كمان كقول القائل سمي كلبك يأكل. لكن رجعنا إلى المدينة ليخرجن الأعز من الأذل. So he said, when he heard this, all Muhajirun are now competing with us, and now they are hitting us, and now they are outnumbering us and taking everything. And then he was telling his people, he was telling the hypocrites, a number of his followers, living with the Prophet in Medina and even going with him for jihad. These are the components of any ummah. No ummah will be all angels. You will have all categories. And he said, that's what happened. I told you. You open your homes for them, you give them your town, and that's what they are doing now. Wallahi, the example of this, and he used one of the maxims of Arabs back then. The example is what Arabs used to say: feed your dog and then he will eat you, or he will bite you back. We open this for them and now this is happening. Then he gave a comment that when we go back to Medina, the most honored, the most noble will kick out the most humiliated. He said, like, I am the best one, I'll kick him out. When the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam heard about this, he didn't want the Muslims to embark on this fitna and talk back and forth. He said, let's leave. Even though it wasn't time for them to leave the rest area. But he decided, and he took them. Usually they will take a few hours and stop. He did not stop. He intentionally kept going on so they will be tired, and when they take risks, they will sleep and just forget about it. Usayd ibn Hudayr, one of the leaders of Ansar, came to Rasulullah. You are leaving in an odd time. You usually don't leave now. What happened? He said, didn't you hear what the man said? Your friend? He said such and such. He said, well, Sadaqa ya Rasulullah. He has said the truth. You are al-azz wa huwa al-adhal. You are the most honored and he is the most humiliated. And then his son, the son of Abdullah ibn Ubay ibn Salul, Abdullah ibn Ubay ibn Salul, he was a true believer. He said, is this what my dad said? He also said the same thing. Sadaqa, he has said the truth. I'll show you Rasulullah what's happened. And 2 nights or so later, Abdullah, the son of this hypocrite person who said this about the Prophet ﷺ, stood by the gate of Medina and he got his sword in the way of his dad, his father, who was a hypocrite. Wallahi, you will not be shaded in any of the shadows of Medina. You will not enter into Medina unless Rasulullah gives you permission. So you know who is at Az and who is at Adal. So you know who is the most honored and who is the most humiliated. And then this man called upon his people, look at what my son is doing, and then they went to Rasulullah Rasulullah give the permission. He said, now I can allow you. Now I can allow you to enter. Subhanallah, this person is given priority to the relationship of Iman with other people who came from a different city than his own father, who is known to be a hypocrite. See the level of alliance topic. It's how we deal with one another. Support the Muslim businesses, brothers and sisters. If everybody else betrays the trust and you think you have been bitten many times, that's not an excuse for you. Just be careful. Yes, be more careful, but continue to practice it yourself for the sake of Allah. Continue to support the Muslim businesses. Continue to smile at the face of those who are frowning at your face. Continue to give salam to those who are not returning your salam. Continue to do this because it's obligatory on you, and you never know, you could be the one who breaks this culture. And if anybody, any group or any part of the ummah needs this alliance, love for one another, support for one another, it is going to be Muslims like us living in a predominantly non-Muslim country. Alhamdulillah, we are very gifted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to live under the law here, and we are free to practice this, but that sometimes shows the worst of us. On the other hand, as we are supporting Muslim businesses, the people who are doing business shouldn't rip Muslims off. Skyrocketing prices for service that we know we can get it elsewhere for much less. Why do we do this? Why do we do this? We need to support one another. When you see a Muslim brother being attacked or being backbited or anything, defend, give the nusra, give the support. That is the right of you over me, and that's my right over you. وإذا عجزت الكلمات عن رسم الصورة الجميلة. If the words would not be enough to give us the full picture, Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is giving us as such a beautiful metaphor of al-mu'minu lil-mu'min kal-bunyan. A believer for another believer is like a building. The different bricks of a building, they all support one another. The bricks that we have in this building, all of them cannot do anything separately. But if you put them together, you can build. And you can go up and you can have a building supporting one another. And another picture Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is drawing it to us. Al-mu'minuna kajasad wahid. All believers are like one body. If one part of the body is suffering, اشتكى منه سائر الجسد بالسهر والحمى. The rest of the body will be suffering sleeplessness and fever. If one part of your body, this is one ummah ahbab al-kiram. Yes, we have issues. Yes, we have problems. You don't want to be part of this culture of judging one another. This, that, they do, we don't do. We need to break this. We need to get together. We need to look at the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We need to be the best people who lower their wings, humble themselves. Allah describing the true believers in one another, أَذِلَّةٍ عَلَى الْمُؤْمِنِينَ. They are humbling themselves. They are humiliating themselves for other believers. That's how believers are with one another. The minute we feel that we are above other Muslims or above or belittle Muslims, لا يحترمنا. A Muslim should not belittle another Muslim brother. The minute we do this, we are losing the direction. We are losing the way of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. If it happens, we need to come back. Like those people, they all came back together. What happened during the Sahaba and many other incidents. The overall image was unity, solidarity. We are there for one another, we support one another. Sometimes things happen, it will happen. It happened at the time of the Sahaba. But we get back together as individuals, as nations. That's what we read in our history, in our legacy, in our Quran, in the Sunnah of our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والعاقبة للمتقين ولا عدوان إلا على الظالمين الآثمين. نشهد أن لا إله إلا الله رب العالمين. نشهد أن سيدنا نبينا محمدا عبده ورسوله الأمين صلى الله وسلم وبارك عليه وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. My dear brothers and sisters, the highest level, the strongest bond that gets us together is the bond of Iman, the bond of faith, the bond of Islam. It's why we're here. Regardless of our faces and our looks and our images and our languages and what we have and our expectations and ages and gender, we are here because of faith. We go to make Hajj because of faith. We fast in Ramadan together because of faith. The same thing we do in Salat, it's all because of Iman. Let's highlight this and live for this. Let's have more love for Muslims. Let's have more trust and respect for Muslims. Let's كل المسلم على المسلم أو المؤمن حرام. Every part and every dimension of a Muslim is sacred for another Muslim. دم ومال وعرض. his blood or life, man, his property, his honor, all of these are sacred. You don't want to come close to the honor of a Muslim person by saying anything wrong. You don't want to come close to the money of a Muslim brother violating this. You don't want to come close to the life of a Muslim. Obviously, we have so many other circles of love and support and respect for one another as people who share the same land, as people who share humanity in general. But here I am focusing on the highest of all circles, which is the circle of Iman, the circle of Aqidah. Only true Muslims will do this. Only true believers will do this. You are going to be tested with this, I am going to be tested with this. Let's act and behave as one ummah. As Abu Bakr and Umar, the best of this ummah, sometimes they disagree. Sometimes they raise their voices over one another, but they will always be together as brothers for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, functioning together. And inshallah, we will practice this and we will master this as we go in this life. And what gets things like this together, Allah, is this. Talk to me about the stories of the Prophet, other of the pioneers who would open their homes and give their cars. And sometimes, we heard these stories for anybody who's coming new, for anybody who's coming asking their help. Maybe the level is so high, but if you cannot benefit the other person, if you cannot extend the benefit, at least don't harm. Don't violate their rights. Don't be a person or a member who will undermine this culture of Muslims being together. أقول قولي هذا وأسأل الله العظيم في هذه الساعة أن يؤلف بين القلوب. May Allah bring the hearts and us together يا رب العالمين. اللهم ألف بين قلوبنا واجمعنا على الحق يا رب العالمين. Bring the hearts of the Muslims everywhere on the haqq, on the truth together for your sake يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم اغفر للمسلمين والمسلمات المؤمنين والمؤمنات الأحياء منهم والأموات إنك يا مولانا سميع قريب مجيب الدعوات. عباد الله إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون. اذكروا الله يذكركم واستغفروه يغفر لكم ولذكر الله أكبر. وأقم الصلاة إن الصلاة كانت على المؤمنين كتابا موقوتا.
الله أكبر.